everybody. Welcome to On the Fringe. This is Dave. I'm here with Gavin,
Yeah.
and we're going to be kicking this episode off real quick. You had 15,000, approximately 1% of the Pakistani workers were sent home from the UAE in the last couple of days. Gavin, why were they sent packing?
Ooh. So I think there are a lot of reasons. I don't know what the official reason, which was given. I think it had something to do with security concerns and trying to shore up security during wartime or something like that. That's the official reason. The unofficial reason, which I think most observers would agree with at this point, is that Pakistan is persona non grata in Dubai and Abu Dhabi at the moment for a variety of reasons, mostly to do with the current conflict with Iran. They are not only mediating that conflict, how successfully is sort of another question, but they are seen as being too close to two countries that the UAE does not particularly care for at the moment. One of them is the Islamic Republic of Iran, the other is the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And this is the tip of the iceberg of a fairly contentious relationship between Saudi Arabia and the UAE that we've been talking about for a while.
Yeah.
Dave, you want to talk about the defense agreement?
Yeah, so the Pakistanis and the Saudis have a mutual defense agreement. In the last month and a half, the Pakistanis have actually sent jets to Saudi Arabia to protect the Saudis from Iran, which is
And I think the key thing is where did they send them and what are they protecting? They sent them to the eastern province near the largest Saudi Aramco oil field in the country, specifically around the eastern terminus of the east-west pipeline crossing the country, bringing oil from the oil fields all the way to the Red Sea. So that's what the Pakistanis are out there guarding. They're basically just there shooting down drones that might try to hit that pipeline, which has been hit at least once, I believe. So yeah, so it's an ongoing counter UAS effort, Air Force effort. They've shot down a few, I think, cruise missiles as well. Um, But yes, it's also somewhat contentious because it also gives the Saudis, at least implicitly, access to the Pakistani nuclear. Oh my God.
going George
Nuclear.
Bush here.
I'm going George, but whoa, the wrong time to do that, I'd say. Yeah, going a little George Bush. W, not HW. They've given them access to the Pakistani nuclear umbrella. Pakistan, nuclear capable country since the 90s. Actually, that holiday is coming up. They have a holiday for their successful nuclear test, is an interesting thing. Anyways, that's a very close relationship. It's also given the Pakistani government access to essentially large amounts of Saudi money. The Saudis have already essentially bailed out the entire economy at least once. And this is just sort of continuing to keep things ticking along. In return, they have full access to the Pakistani military, which is a military with a good reputation, lots of people, and people who can use the equipment that the Saudis have. The Saudi military famously has incredible amounts of very up-to-date, very cutting-edge weapon systems, and they have a chronic lack of personnel. So having the Pakistanis there, it's a big boost. Having that relationship, which has been informal for a very long time, like we know that that relationship has essentially existed for a while, but formalizing it is important for both countries. It's also really as you can tell, pissed off the UAE.
Yeah.
And
And just to jump into that real quick, the UAE had called up, I think it was 4 billion in debt. So it was the
mhm,
UAE that had actually called up debt from the Pakistani government, and the Saudis are the ones that bailed them out.
yeah. And I think they're not happy about that either. Um, because I think it was seen, probably not wrongly, it was seen as a bit of a insulting gesture. And there have been a couple of insulting gestures over the last couple of months. Not so much gestures as statements. These are two countries that are not particularly happy with each other. And as we just talked about, I think Saudi sees this as an opportunity for the Gulf countries to come together under their leadership, and the UAE does not feel that way at all.
No.
So this is a way of, first of all, it's a old Gulf state playbook. They're deporting people from a country they don't like, or they're deporting people that belong to a group that they don't like. This is something that every country in the Gulf has done historically, and they do it quite a bit. They do it pretty frequently. This is a standard policy playbook thing for every country in the Gulf. So the UAE is not doing anything I think that's wildly out of pocket here, though I feel bad for any of those 15,000 people because I know they didn't do anything.
Yeah, they're
This is
very likely just trying to make money and get by.
supporting families.
Hmm.
They're supporting families. Maybe they were trying to make a life for themselves, but they are pawns in a much larger game. And the UAE is sending a signal to the Pakistanis that they aren't happy with them and that they can hurt them. And I think they're trying to send a signal to the Saudis that they can't protect the Pakistanis. They're trying to force the Saudis, or not force, they're trying to dissuade the Saudis from using proxies. They don't want Saudi co-opting, Pakistan co-opting Egypt because they're aware that if the Saudis can do that successfully, they will continue to be regionally dominant in a way that gets in the way of the UAE's plans for the region.
And I think too, it's signaling to India as well.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's not a direct signal, but it's a very indirect signal that the UAE wants to strengthen its ties more
Hmm.
with India. And they
Yep.
already have billions going back and forth between the two countries, largely in remittances. But still, this is, I think, a very good sign for India if India is trying to build this relationship and have more investment from the UAE into India.
They want to be the preferred partner. And I think this is a sign that that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, and again, it's one of those things. If UAE does this, what's Saudi going to do?
Hmm.
Does Saudi deport Indians? What do they do? We don't know yet. But there is going to be a response to this. We are going to be keeping our finger on the pulse of the situation, and you'll hear more about it soon from us here on the Fringe. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share some memes with Dave. Dave loves the memes.
Oh,
He loves getting gifts at odd hours of the night.
I do. I do.
He does. He does. He's had a lot of practice. So send him all your wacky images, um, stuff that's encrypted and you have to download, like just really weird stuff.
Yeah, the
Anyways,
more spyware on my computer, the better.
you know what? I ascribe to the Three Stooges disease theory for computer viruses, which is that if I have all the viruses on my computer, they cancel each other out.
Yeah. Well, your computer can't get any sicker, right?
Exactly. If you're as sick as you could possibly be, you're the strongest man in the world. And on that note, thank you so much for listening to On the Fringe. You'll hear from us soon. Dave,
Yeah. What time is it?
I think, well, it's not hammer time. I think you need to hit the